And you all may choose to do this sitting in a chair, sitting on the floor, whatever is comfortable for you. We will be moving to standing and doing some standing motions as well. Please feel free to unmute and let me know if you have any issues hearing me or anything, because my screen is kind of far and my eyesight's not that great, so I may not be able to grab the chat until later. So I invite you all to come to a comfortable seated position, whether it be in the chair or on the floor, your choice. Closing your eyes, keeping them soft or closed. And here we'll begin with just some long, deep breathing, intentional long, deep breathing. And as you inhale, bringing in the breath to the base of your spine, expanding your belly, expanding your mid-chest and upper chest. And when you're exhaling, your collarbones come down, your side ribs move inward, and your navel moves inward and upward as if kissing the back of your spine. Long, deep breathing, this intentional long, deep breathing helps reduce anxiety, relieve you of depression, and just relieve and get rid of all the clutter in the mind. It allows you to bring yourself to a calm state so you're non-reactive. I invite you to bring your left hand to your belly, right hand to your heart if you're comfortable. Continuing to keep your eyes soft or closed. And breathing long and deep, filling up the belly, the chest, and the upper chest. Breathing long and deep. Noticing your heart beating, feeling it with your hand. Feeling the breath moving in and out of the nose. As it goes in, it's cool. And as you breathe out, it's warm. And now here I invite you to take in a deep inhale and suspend your breath. And open your mouth and sigh it out. We'll do that again. Inhale, really deep. Suspend. And then open mouth, sigh it out. Resting your hands on your knees. We'll begin with a little bit of motion for the base of our spine and our pelvis by squeezing our navel inward and upward, holding the core, sit bones on the mat. We're just going to corkscrew in one direction. It's a good massage for your low back, your hips. Perhaps if you were sitting most of the morning, this will be a good way to warm things up before we come to standing. Breathing long and deep, filling up belly, mid-chest, and upper chest throughout this practice is the way we connect our breath, our body, and our mind as one. And next time you're in the front and center, gently reverse the direction of the rotation, remembering to keep both sit bones into the floor or the chair. Breathing long and deep, squeezing the navel to the back of the spine to protect your lower back. Getting up throughout the day and moving is so important. It allows the blood to circulate, the oxygen and the nutrients to get to where they need to get to keep our body moving and staying energized. And then coming back to center in a nice neutral long spine, taking in a deep inhale. Open mouth, exhale. Taking your legs out in front of you, reaching your arms up, inhale. Exhale, folding forward. If you're sitting in a chair, you can still fold forward, just drop down, do a forward fold, reaching your toes, your ankles, your shins, or your knees. It doesn't matter where you touch. As long as your hands are holding or touching somewhere, they're not in the air. Yoga is not about reaching your toes. Yoga is about you gaining the experience through the shapes that your body can create for you. If everyone could reach their toes and go into these different poses, Gumby poses, we would all be in the circus, is what my yoga teacher would say. Breathing long and deep. Getting a nice stretch from the heels all the way to the low back, perhaps even the mid back. And taking in a deep inhale. Open mouth, exhale. Walking your hands up. Gently sweeping your knees over to one side. We're going to come onto all fours. We're going to do a couple of cat-cows. So making sure your wrists, elbows, and shoulders are in alignment. Your hands are shoulder width apart. Knees are underneath your hips, and your knees are hip width apart. Swaying your belly down, pressing the navel towards the spine, towards the mat. Lifting up your head and neck, lifting up your tailbone. Inhale, pressing into the mat. Exhale, rounding the mat, your back. Chin to chest, tucking the tailbone down into cat. Inhale into cow. Exhale into cat. Doing a couple of these spinal flows will really get the blood to move, and it also lubricates your spine. This is a good full spine exercise. It's a really good practice to do first thing in the morning to wake everything up. You can also do this in the chair, just putting your hands on the knees and rounding your back and then flexing forward. Inhaling into cow and exhaling into cat. Let's do one more. Inhale and exhale. Coming back to center and neutral. You're going to curl your toes under. Now, if downward facing dog is not in your practice, then you stay in tabletop. That is perfectly fine. If downward facing dog is something you would like to do or try, just lifting your hips up towards the ceiling, head in between your arms, pressing your heels towards the floor. If your heels don't go flat, it doesn't matter. Again, it's the sensation that you feel in the back of the legs. Head is in between the arms, holding it here. Taking 3 long, deep breaths. Downward facing dog is an inverted pose. Staying in this pose, breathing. And here, taking a deep inhale. As you exhale, walking, jumping, or hopping to the front of your mat to a forward fold. You can bend your knees a lot, bringing the belly and chest to touch the thighs. Or if you're not feeling super tight, you can lengthen your legs, bringing your head, neck down. If your hands just dangle like a rag doll, then let them do so. And then if they are, swinging your hips side to side, getting a nice low back release. Again, this is something you can do throughout the day, taking a break from sitting. Just come and do ragdoll to release the low back and the legs. Bending your knees a lot, bringing your hands to your hips, lifting up, leading with your chest, pressing into the heels. Inhale. And exhale, bringing the arms down to your side, coming into mountain pose, palms facing forward. Lifting all 10 toes up, pressing into the mound of the big toe, the mound of the pinky toe, and pressing into the heel, dropping the toes down. Lifting your shoulders up and then rounding them back and down away from your ears. Equal stance. Bringing your hands to your hips, we're going to step back with our right foot. We're going to go into a lunge pose. The back foot is at about a 45-degree angle. The front foot, which is your left, is pointing towards the front. Your knee is going to move in the direction of that big toe. So your legs can go out pretty wide, bringing your hips and turning them to the front, and then reaching your arms up. If you're better right here with your hands right here, then keep them here. If you want a little bit more of a stretch, bring them up and drawing the shoulders away from the ears, bringing the navel inward and upward. Breathing here, warrior one. These lunge poses are really good and powerful because they really work on your hips, all sides of the hips, which tend to get tight from sitting and just from creating mental stress throughout the day. Taking a deep inhale, open mouth exhale, and then opening your arms up, left arm in front, right arm in back, and taking your hips and then turning them to the side, the long side of your mat, looking over your front fingertips, stretching forward and back. Perhaps imagining what's behind you is the past and what's in front of you is the future. However, pressing your shoulders and arms down as if there's a body of water, resistance. Staying here in the present. Always remembering what we do in the present moment is what's going to create the future. So rather than looking ahead and saying, what if? Let's say, I'm here, I am now. Therefore, I am. Flipping up the front palm and then reaching it up to the ceiling, dropping the back hand down the back leg. You can keep your hand right here or you can twist it around your waist for a bind. Peaceful warrior. Holding it here for a couple of breaths. Those long, deep breaths we did at the beginning of the practice. Taking a deep inhale. Exhale, unwinding back to warrior two. Inhale. Exhale, hands to the hips, coming to the front of the mat, and then shaking your legs up. Seeing how that feels. Coming back to your mountain pose. And taking a breath or two here just to take a moment to notice. Notice the energy that you've created through just holding a pose. And here, we'll take our left foot to the back, bending into our right knee, taking the hips to the front, reaching your arms up, or they can stay here on your hips, moving into warrior one, making sure that front knee is moving in the direction of the big toe and the front knee is stacked over that ankle, drawing your shoulders away from the ears, tucking your tailbone down, navel inward and upward. Warrior one. Breathing. These poses are nice stretch poses, really opening up everything, getting the circulation to move. Your breath is what draws the energy, your life force energy into your body and heals you. Inhale. Exhale, bringing the right arm forward and the left arm back, opening the hips to the side, looking over the front fingertips, stretching forward, stretching back, pressing shoulders away from the ears to stay in the present moment. Really engaging every muscle in your body. Perhaps just releasing your jaw, releasing the tongue from the roof of your mouth, and breathe. Flipping the front palm up, inhale. Exhale, reaching that arm up to the ceiling, sliding the back arm down the back leg, getting a nice side body stretch here. You can keep this back arm here or wrap it around your waist for a bind. Breathing the practice. These poses can be a balanced pose as well. So really pressing the mound of the big toe and the pinky toe and the heels of each foot into the mat. Inhale. Exhale, unwind to warrior two. Inhale. Exhale, hands to the hips, and then walking back to the front of the mat and shaking your legs out. Good. Here, we'll come to the front of the mat, reaching your arms up, slight back bend. Exhale, swan dive down. You can bend your knees if you need to. Inhale, sliding the hands up the shins, flat back, looking forward. Exhale, bringing the hands to the mat. And here you have an option. You can move to the top of a push-up or plank or to your tabletop, all fours. So if you choose to move to the plank, you'll be here. If you're in tabletop, you're here. holding it there. Inhale, pressing into the mat. Exhale, coming down all the way to your belly. Uncurling the toes, hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale, baby cobra, looking up, squeezing the buttocks, squeezing the navel to the back of the spine. Exhale, come down. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, come down. Last time. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, come down. Here, you can choose to go to tabletop or move directly to a downward facing dog. So if you go to tabletop, you come here. Or if you go to a downward facing dog, pushing all the way up to that. Yogi's choice. There are choices in yoga, not levels. Choices, options. Inhale. Exhale, coming to the front of the mat and making it to a forward fold, getting there however it works for you. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweeping your arms all the way up. Slight back bend. Exhale, hands to heart center. Reset and reconnect. We'll go through that 2 more times. Inhale, slight back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, looking forward. Exhale, hands to the mat, moving to your plank or to your tabletop. Inhale, pressing into the mat, squeezing. Exhale, coming down, all the way down to your belly. Uncurling the toes. Inhale, 3 baby cobras. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Squeezing your buttocks, squeezing your navel to the spine to protect your low back. Inhale, up. Exhale, come down. 1 more time. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Curling toes under, moving to tabletop or straight to your downward facing dog. Holding it here for 3 breaths. On your third exhale, walking, stepping or hopping to the front of the mat to your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweeping your arms all the way up. Slight back bend if you want. Exhale, hands to heart center. Reset and reconnect. Last time. Inhale, sweeping arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to mat, plank, or tabletop. Inhale. Exhale, come down to belly. Uncurl toes. 3 baby cobras. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, coming down. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, coming down. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, coming down. Curling toes under, tabletop or downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. As if a string is pulling your tailbone up to the ceiling. On your last exhale, dropping your knees down, if they're not already down. Bring the big toes together, widening the knees, and then pressing your hips back to your heels, dropping your head and neck down to the floor. If your head doesn't reach the floor, then you can stack your fists and rest them. Rest the head on the fist. Making sure your head is not in the air. Your head is about 10 to 11 pounds. This is a nice counter stretch to the cobra. This is called baby pose or child's pose. Holding it here and taking a couple of long, deep breaths. Taking a deep inhale. Exhale, coming back to tabletop. Here we'll do a couple of more stretches. You're going to step back with your right foot resting on the toes and the ball of the foot, pressing into the mat, shoulders away from the ears. You're going to rock forward and back. Getting a nice stretch in the back of the leg. And then here, coming to the tippy toes, lifting up that right leg to about hip height, flexing the foot, and then taking that leg across, the right leg across the left leg, and then taking a peek over your left shoulder. Again, pressing your shoulders away from your ears, squeezing your navel to the back of the spine, holding it here for 3, 2, 1. Turning your head back to center, lifting up that back leg up to hip height, straight up behind you. Inhale. Exhale, bring that knee down and then just wag the tail. Doing the same thing on the other side. Taking the left leg back onto the toes, rocking forward and back on the ball of the foot and toes. Getting a nice, good stretch back here. All these movements warming our body up is getting the blood to circulate, clearing our mind by giving it the oxygen, the brain that it needs so that we can have mental clarity and focus to concentrate moving forward. Coming to your toes, lifting up the back foot and leg to about hip height, holding it here, breathing, and then taking that left leg across the right. And then your gaze is over your right shoulder, and then bringing those shoulders away from your ears. Breathing long and deep. Inhale, bringing the head back to center, leg back up to flex, and then gently bring it down. Exhale and wag the tail. Here we'll do a balance pose. So taking your right leg behind you, flexing it, holding it here, hip height. If you're okay, you can take your left arm out in front of you, thumb towards the ceiling, squeezing your navel to the back of the spine. That's what gives you balance. If this is bothering your knees, you can roll up a towel or roll up the mat underneath your knees. Inhale. Exhale, hand and knee down, wag the tail. Do the same thing on the other side. Taking the left leg out, feeling stable, lifting up that leg, flexing the foot, squeezing the navel to the back of the spine, squeezing your buttocks. Bringing your right arm out in front of you, thumb facing to the ceiling. Breathing long and deep. Taking a deep inhale. Exhale, hand and knee down, and then wag the tail. Again, bringing the big toes together, widening the knees, and then bringing yourself back down into child's pose, using whatever you need to prop your head if the floor is not where it meets. Taking a couple of breaths right here, and taking a moment to notice how this feels. You're taking a deep inhale, open mouth exhale, and gently come back up to all fours. Sweeping your knees over to one side, and then you're going to drop your hips down, coming onto your back. Getting there, however, is best for you. Keeping the knees up, heels to the floor, hands down to your sides. If you can reach your heels, then you can hold them. If not, your hands are flat on the mat. We're going to go into bridge pose. Pressing into the heels and pretend that you have a yoga block or a small ball in between your thighs. So squeeze and then use those hips. Lift them up. You can also use your hands to give yourself a little boost if you feel like you need that. Holding it here for 3, 2, and 1. Gently coming down one vertebra at a time. And then just windshield wipering your knees. Opening up our hips releases all the pressure that we hold. We tend to hold tension, stress in our hips and our shoulders, our low back, knees up to the ceiling. Let's do another bridge here. Inhale. Bringing it all the way up, high as you can. If you feel like you want a little more, you can lift up your heel. If that's still not enough, you can lift up one leg at a time. Again, these are all options, choices, not advancement. Dropping the heels if they're up, inhale. Exhale, coming down one vertebra at a time. Gently windshield wipering your knees. And here, lengthening your legs. Making any gentle movements that you need to feel comfortable in this final pose of Savasana. Your palms face down if you feel that you need to be grounded today. Or perhaps face up to receive. Receive love. Because today, November 13th, it's World Kindness Day. So you coming to this class and giving yourself time for self-love and self-care is being kind to yourself. We must fill our cup up with kindness and love first so that we can share it with those around us. So thank you for taking time for yourself. Savasana, giving yourself a moment to just rest. And then gently wiggling your fingers and your toes and rocking your head side to side. Hugging your knees to your chest. Rocking side to side. Rocking onto your favorite side, using the crook of your elbow as a pillow. Allowing your body to reset and reconnect. Gently pushing yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Perhaps keeping your eyes soft or closed to allow yourself to stay in this moment. And here I invite you to do that intentional long, deep breathing for just a moment again. And just notice how you feel now and compare it to when you first came into the session. I invite you to reach your arms up to the ceiling, taking in a deep inhale. Exhale, bringing the palms down to your beautiful heart center. First, bowing to yourself, giving yourself honor and gratitude for giving yourself time for self-love and self-care. Your palms to your forehead for loving and kind thoughts, and to your lips for loving and kind words. Back to your beautiful heart center to give, but most importantly, receive love. Namaste. Thank you all for joining. I appreciate your support in my practice. If you all are interested in more, I do teach group sessions, semi-private sessions, and private sessions, and I'm also a health and wellness coach. So you can certainly reach out to me. I can ask Amy to send my email or my website. And again, thank you all for joining my practice. I appreciate your support. Happy Friday and happy World Kindness Day.